So Vernee is officially the second manufacturer in the world to use the Helio X30 processor. Their first was Meizu with their Meizu Pro 7 Plus, and the Vernee Apollo 2 is going to be the second phone in the world to use the Helio X30 processor. However, I do have mixed feelings about the Helio X30 processor that I will talk to you later. However, I have loved a lot of Vernee phones. I love the Vernee Apollo, Vernee Mars Pro, Vernee Apollo X. Those were all very good phones. So again, I have quite high hopes for the Vernee Apollo 2. Now, before we get into a full talk, I want to let you know about a giveaway that I'm hosting. After you finish watching this video, I highly recommend you check the giveaway in the description down below. And it only takes 5 seconds and it's free. Okay, so first, specifications. The Vernee Apollo 2 is going to come with a 6-inch Sharp TDDI 18:9 IPS LCD screen. Sharp is known for the high contrast screen, so I'm looking forward to that. It's also going to come with, obviously, the Helio X30 10-core processor, 6 GB of RAM, 128 gigs of ROM, Android 8.1 VOS, which means Vernee OS. Vernee OS has traditionally been very stock. It's almost like the Motorola stock skin with a few additions, and that's what the Vernee OS looks like, except obviously with more bugs than what you have on the Motorola operating system, but it should still be okay. And we also have a 16 by 13 megapixel dual rear camera setup, 8 megapixel front camera, and a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. Now, for 3G and 4G, this is actually one of the first Vernee phones to actually get 3G in the USA, and we'll talk about that later. So first, let's talk about the build quality. Do you guys remember the Vernee Apollo? That was my favorite metal feeling phone. It had a very nice matte metal finish to it, where most phones have a smooth metal finish, which I'm gonna be honest with you is not bad, but I really do like the matte, powdery metal finish on the back, and that was what the Vernee Apollo had. However, the Vernee Apollo 2 here does not have that matte metal finish. It has the regular smooth metal finish that is what you see on the Vernee Mars Pro and the older Vernee Mars as well. It's not bad, but I would have preferred they went back to that older powdered metal feel that they had before. Honestly though, this phone doesn't really look like anything special. It looks like a regular 18:9 phone with relatively small bezels, not the smallest in the world. The Galaxy S8, the S9, the Vivo Apex, those all beat this in terms of bezel sizes on the side of the phone. So again, it's nothing special, but it still looks good enough that it won't be, laughed at as being old and ugly. So this again has a 6-inch Sharp TDDI display, and Sharp traditionally has had very high contrast in their displays, and I'm looking forward to that as well because that is one of the determining factors in how well a screen looks, at least to the average human eye. Now, in terms of battery life, it has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. Now, I believe according to Mediatek, they claim the X30 can actually have better battery life than their P70. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what they said. And I highly doubt that, just because they have to keep 3 cores in a low power state at all times, ready to ramp up whenever they need, whereas the Helio P70 only has 2 sets of cores to ramp up in a low power state as well. So let's talk about the software here. The Vernee Apollo 2 is going to come with Android 8.0 Oreo. Now, I've had one slight issue with many Vernee phones in the past, and I'll let you know what it is right now. So the issue I had is touch sensitivity. Now, I don't believe it's a hardware issue because a lot of the phones I had, the touch sensitivity was fine. It was just a little bit less fine than, let's say, what you have on an iPhone or a Galaxy S8, or even like the Xiaomi Mi Note 3, which I have here, which have great touch sensitivity. The Vernee Apollo 2, the Vernee Apollo, Vernee Mars, I think Vernee Apollo X, the touch sensitivity was slightly less good than, perfect. So I really hope that they get past that and, either implement better software or put in a better touch sensor module inside the phone itself. So let's talk about the Helio X30. It's actually pretty similar to the Helio P70, except it has one extra set of low power cores. So on the low end, it has 4 A35 2 GHz or 1.8 GHz cores, and those are for the super low power. And then for mid-range, it has 4 A53 2.0 GHz cores, which is similar to what you have in the Helio P70, Snapdragon 625. And on the high side, you have 2 A73 high-power 2.8 GHz cores for high-powered use. And yeah, at first I was pretty excited, but it actually doesn't have that great Antutu scores. The fake Antutu P70 scores actually score better than that, assuming the fake Antutu P70 scores are somewhere close to what the real one's going to get, but it's obviously not. But the Helio X30 actually matches the Snapdragon 821. It still does not match up to the Snapdragon 835 or the 845 either. And it's, trading blows or pulling ahead most of the time, but trading blows with the Snapdragon 660 as well. Now, for the most important part of this phone to Americans and Canadians, this is the first Vernee phone, I believe, to have 3G support for North America, which is, I think it's a first for Vernee, which is good because that means that if you want to buy this phone, you can. It will get 3G in US and Canada in most places, if not all places, because it has the required 3G bands, which is nice. The problem is the 4G sub-band support in North America is still not up to par. They fully support Europe, but not North America, which is kind of sad. You do get more band support than other cell phones, but it's still not good enough, in my opinion, for you to buy it if you want 4G all the time. However, those of us in Canada, this phone will work on 3G and 4G, so we should be good. However, if you're in the USA, you'll have to think about that trade-off that you're going to make. You're going to get 3G, but you're not going to get 4G in most places that you use this phone. Now, the camera here should be great. I've generally been very impressed with Vernee's higher-end cell phone cameras. For example, the Vernee Apollo X, the Vernee Mars Pro, and the Vernee Apollo 1. Those all had great cameras. I remember someone telling me that the Vernee Apollo's camera is amazing, and I agree. It's really good. It's 4K, and it was released, I think, a year or a year and a half ago. And that 4K camera actually still stands up today, even to other phones. So again, the Vernee Apollo 2, Vernee should do a pretty good job with the camera here. Now, the biggest problem I have with this phone is the price. It starts at $400, which is about 320 euros, so it's still very expensive. And I know phone prices have been increasing, but that effect is felt so much more acutely in Chinese phones because Chinese phones are cheap to begin with, and any price increase looks massive compared to, let's say, Galaxy S8. So let's say, for example, the Galaxy S8 increases by 50 bucks. That's not that big a deal. But if a $100 Xiaomi phone increases by 50 bucks, that's massive. And that's kind of what we see here. The Vernee Apollo X cost about $250, I think, and this is like a $150 increase. So that's quite hefty, especially if you see the price increase as well. So do I recommend this phone? I mean, I have no idea because I haven't tested it yet. But let's assume that the phone is good. Even if the phone is great, at $400, there are a lot of other better phones that you can get. They're uglier, I would say, but they're better. Like the Mi Note 3, this thing is a great phone. It's just really ugly, which is one downside to it. If it's on sale, maybe, yeah. Depends how much it's on sale, obviously. It could be on sale for 20 bucks, then no. 50 bucks? Maybe. 100 bucks, definitely. But yeah, I would recommend against people buying this at full price because it's really not worth it. You have a lot of other phones to choose from that are a lot better than this. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are of the Vernee Apollo 2. Is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be a good phone? And what your thoughts are on Vernee in general. I know many of you guys have had complaints with the software optimization and the software support and the software updates as well. So let me know in the comments down below what do you think about that. Quick reminder to enter the giveaway in the description down below. It takes 5 seconds and it's free. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.